Item 147, AB 237 by Assemblymember Patel. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 237 by Assemblymember Patel and others, enact relating to crimes.
Assemblymember Patel, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. I rise today to present AB 237, which closes a loophole that complicates criminal threat prosecution. This bill clarifies that it is criminal to threaten to commit a crime at a daycare, school, university, workplace, house of worship, or medical facility. This gap in the law has real consequences. It has prevented law enforcement from getting search warrants. It has stopped prosecutors from charging individuals who make serious threats. And it has left communities vulnerable and unable to act before violence occurs. And even beyond diminishing public safety, the inability to act on these threats erodes trust in public institutions and our sense of community. AB 237 strengthens public safety and allows for a common sense solution to a serious and unfortunately common problem. It received unanimous support in public safety, and I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Seeing no further debate, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll and tally the vote. Aye 63, no 0. The measure passes. We'll pass and retain on file item 148. Item 149, AB 338 by Assemblymember Solache. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 338 by Assemblymember Solache, enact relating to workforce development, making an appropriation therefore, and declaring the urgency thereof to take effect immediately.
Assemblymember Solache, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am proud to present AB 338, Workforce Recovery for Los Angeles and Ventura Wildfires. AB 338 outlines workforce recovery priorities to ensure a skilled and sufficient workforce to meet the scale of rebuilding and urgent economic recovery needs. The jobs created and supported by AB 338 directly align with ongoing recovery efforts and high demand roles needed to help workers who lost so much in the fires and are very people hired to help rebuild our communities. AB 338 strengthens our workforce infrastructure to rebuild our region. There is no opposition to this bill. Thank you. Members, I respectfully ask for an aye vote on AB 338.
Assemblymember Jeff Gonzalez, you are recognized.
Question for the author.
Without objection.
He said there's no opposition to this bill?
Correct, Mr. Gonzalez.
Then I fully support this. I rise in support of this bill. We talked about this in committee. You led this all the way through, and you kept your word as to every piece of this. And I thank the author for continuing to be a person of his word and leading appropriately. So I urge my colleagues to support this bill.
Seeing no further debate, Assemblymember Solache, would you like to close?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I thank the member from Indio and appreciate his support and ask for an aye support. Thank you.
All debate having ceased, the clerk will open the roll. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. All those vote who desire to vote. The clerk will close the roll and tally the vote. Aye 69, no 0. The measure passes. Pardon? Aye 69, no 0 on the urgency. Aye 69, no 0 on the measure. The measure passes. Item 150, AB 342 by Assemblymember Haney. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 342 by Assemblymember Haney and others, enact relating to alcoholic beverages.
Assemblymember Haney, you are recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. AB 342 is a bipartisan bill that will allow local governments to create hospitality zones, areas of cities, often in downtowns, where there is a focus on supporting businesses and attracting visitors, residents, and tourists. Within these zones, cities will be authorized to permit specific venues at their discretion to extend their last call time solely on Fridays, Saturdays, and official state holidays. As we all know, many of California's downtowns are struggling to return to pre-pandemic activity, and many are recovering at slower rates than cities across the country. Tourism spending in the Bay Area is down, hotel revenue down by 45%, restaurant revenue down by 20% since 2019. Under current law, cities are limited in their ability to attract tourists and support businesses, and it is crucial for our cities to think beyond the standard 9 to 5 business hours and instead broaden their appeal to bring people into the city and support a more diverse set of businesses. We are also preparing to host 5 major worldwide events over the next 3 years, and we need to make sure that our small businesses have every tool that can allow them the flexibility to capitalize at this moment. AB 342 will allow, but not require, the creation of hospitality zones that local governments have full control over, and they can determine which areas can extend last call time. This bill also requires the local governing bodies to consider certain factors, such as public safety, transportation, availability of hotel accommodations, walkability, and proximity of convention centers and arenas, and appropriateness of the zone. AB 342 is a pro-business, pro-local government bill that gives cities the tools and flexibility they need to support their communities and the needs of their residents and visitors. We have a broad coalition from every corner of the state, including the Cal Chamber, California Restaurant Association, LA Chamber, Business and Labor, dozens of businesses across the state who are telling us this is something that will help them support their cities and communities. I also want to note that we took amendments that moved the California Association of Highway Patrolmen, CHP, to a neutral position, and there is no local law enforcement opposition. With that, respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Assemblymember Bryan, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and colleagues. I rise in support of AB 342. About 3 years ago, a similar measure was on this floor. I did not support it, but the author has put in just an unbelievable amount of work, including leading our select committee, going downtown across the state, learning what businesses and communities need to spur the creation of these hospitality districts. It's a very thoughtful, well-balanced bill, and I want to thank the member from San Francisco for his leadership and strongly urge an aye vote.
Assemblymember DeMaio, you're recognized.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I rise in support of AB 342. I know the Republican caucus has an opposed recommendation. I'm hoping my colleagues will take a closer look at this bill and consider a few factors. I'm actually growing concerned at the number of bills that the authors offered today that I support. We're on a roll, baby. But a couple items that I want to respond to in terms of the often cited elements of opposition to this bill. First, this is not a requirement that hours be extended. It just simply gives the flexibility to local governments to have a discussion and craft a
Mr. DeMaio, just a moment. Mr. Gallagher, you were recognized.
I'd like to call Republican caucus. Not really.
Apologies, Mr. DeMaio. Please continue.
It gives flexibility. It does not mandate a 4 o'clock extension. Secondly, there is a criticism of the bill that it would yield alcohol abuse, more DUIs. Nothing in the data suggests that that is true. And in fact, quite the contrary, a number of establishments will say that when they do last call, people very quickly order a bunch of drinks, they drink quickly, and then suddenly you get a rush of people all at 1:45, 2 o'clock out on the roads. This allows for a more staggered disbursement of patrons at these bars. And finally, look, we extend this ability, this flexibility, we study it. If there are issues, we can always come back and adjust. But I hope that my colleagues on the Republican side would see this as a pro-business flexibility measure and join me in supporting AB 342.
Thank you, Assemblymember DeMaio. Assemblymember Mark Gonzalez, you are recognized.
I'm not sure how to follow that, Mr. Speaker, but I will because I rise in support of, as a proud co-author of AB 342, and I want to thank my colleague from San Francisco for his leadership. Downtown Los Angeles stands at a crossroads, and at every crossroads we're given a choice to stay where we are or move boldly toward the future we believe in. I want to thank Mr. Haney, the only time we'll ever agree with the Giants fan on this particular bill. But it's more than a policy, it's a pathway, it's a bridge, it's a chance to breathe new life into our economy, to uplift our workers and empower the small businesses that are a heartbeat of our city. let's be clear, this is not about longer hours. It's about stronger economy. It's about more jobs for bartenders, barbacks, servers, security staff, performers. It's more revenue for small businesses. It's keeping dollars local. It's keeping doors open. Because LA doesn't shut down at midnight. We're not Cinderella. We are the city of dreamers and doers, or rhythms at late night hustle, the city of lights, and we should be shining all night long. This bill is about saying yes to small businesses, yes to working families, yes to vibrant communities, yes to bold ideas. It's about choosing faith over fear, opportunity over limits, and vision over doubt. Shh. So I urge my colleagues in the legislature, let's rise together, let's pass AB 342, and let's make sure LA isn't just ready for the world, we are ready to lead it. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Assemblymember Mark Gonzalez. Members, can I have some decorum, please? Members. Mr. Jackson. Mr. Lackey, you are recognized.
If you haven't noticed, I don't find a bit of humor in any of this, and especially this bill. Because let me tell you, everybody, there's no bill that I feel more strongly about than this one. This is its sixth try. And I feel very proud to be part of the opposition to this bill. Because let me tell you, no bill either addresses my experience more than this one. All of you know that well, at least most of you probably know that I spent a long time with the California Highway Patrol. And 20 of those years, 20, I spent working these hours. So I know, not from some damn study, but from what I've seen. And when you've been in the home of these people that have lost a loved one, and I've been in their homes, and I've done everything I can to wait till I get to my patrol car to cry, because it's real. You can talk about all these benefits. I don't deny that there's a benefit. But is it worth a life? Is it really worth a life? I say no. Because listen, I know how this place works. I'm not naive. I know this is going to pass. Shame on you. Shame on you for contributing to death. Because that's what you're doing. And I'm heartbroken over this. We make light of something that does not deserve to be made light of. People are going to die. I don't know how many. I don't know what the regularity is going to be. I can't quote stats. But what I can quote is my experience. And I don't care what study I look at. It does not take that away from me. Because I will tell you, colleagues, this will result in needless death. So why? So people can make more money? That is shameful. You accuse my party of being so focused on money. Well, this is one time, folks. Money does not matter. Life matters. If you can vote and push the green button, you'll result in red consequences. And shame on you.
Thank you, Assemblymember Lackey. Assemblymember Wallace, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Colleagues, I rise as a proud co-author of AB 342. It's been noted that this bill is a good local government bill. It's a good pro-business bill. But I wanted to rise and thank the author, too, for his work on the public safety front. As it's been noted, this bill's been tried multiple times in the past. It hasn't made it across the finish line. And I just want to give credit where it's due to the author for taking the time to work with our public safety partners to make sure that this is something that we're all going to be able to support today. And I absolutely encourage an aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblymember Wallace. Seeing and hearing no further business, Assemblymember Haney, do you wish to close?
Yes, thank you so much to all my colleagues for your comments and for your support. As you heard, we took public safety very seriously with this bill from the very beginning, working with the California Association of Highway Patrolmen. There has not been a bill like this tried ever before. This is a much more narrow bill, requires the creation of a hospitality zone in a city, in a downtown area, a lot of local control there. They have to consider public safety in doing that solely on Fridays and Saturdays. This is about, yes, supporting our small businesses, supporting our economy, supporting our revenue, supporting our cities, supporting our residents, allowing them to build a recovery and create a culture and community that does take into consideration public safety and local needs. That's what we're doing here. We shouldn't have one size fits all. We should allow for the flexibility, including in some cases to improve flexibility so that you have those staggered closing times, which actually can increase safety. This is the right thing to do. It will support our cities. It will do so in a smart, tailored way. And with that, I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Assemblymember Haney. All debate having ceased, clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 44, noes 9. The measure passes. We're going to move on to file item number 151, AB 346 by Assemblymember Nguyen. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 346 by Assemblymember Quinn, enacting the In-Home Supportive Services.
Assemblymember Nguyen, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. I rise to present AB 346, which will streamline the in-home supportive service paperwork process required for recipients to be authorized to receive paramedical services from their caretakers. This bill had bipartisan support and no opposition. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Assemblymember Nguyen. All debate having ceased, the clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 62, noes 0. The measure passes. Brings us to file item 152, AB 349 by Assemblymember Dixon. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 349 by Assemblymember Dixon, enacting the foster care.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. It is my pleasure to present AB 349 today. This is my third time introducing this bill this legislation alongside our sponsor, Mary's Path in Orange County, to address a critical lack of financial assistance available to foster mothers in California. This bill would index the foster youth infant supplement to inflation beginning in 2026. With the cost of living increases since 2016, on essentials like diapers and formula, there has never been a more critical time to provide this relief. The bill passed through Policy Committee and Appropriations with unanimous support. Let's support our foster mothers. Many of these mothers have been trafficked, and respectfully request your aye vote. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Assemblymember Dixon. All debate having ceased, the clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 63, noes 0. The measure passes. We're going to pass and retain a file item 153, brings us to file item 154, AB 381 by Assemblymember Stephanie. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 381 by Assemblymember Stephanie and others, enacting the public contracts.
Assemblymember Stephanie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I rise to present AB 381, which would prevent human trafficking and forced labor at the source by updating the state's outdated public procurement rules. Forced labor continues to plague supply chains and industries. From 2022 to 2023, California spent almost $19 billion on purchasing and contracts, and is known to procure goods that are at high risk of being produced with human trafficking, forced labor, and child labor. This bill aligns state law with the federal standards set forth in 2016 that adopt more detailed guidance for businesses to prevent human trafficking and mitigate exploitation. AB 381 passed out of committee with bipartisan support, and I respectfully urge an aye vote.
Thank you, Assemblymember Stephanie. All debate having ceased, clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 69, noes 0. The measure passes. Ms. Macedo. We're going to be going back in file, folks, to file item 139, AB 1485 by Assemblymember Macedo. The clerk will read. 139, AB 1485.
Assembly Bill 1485 by Assemblymember Macedo, an act related to taxation to take effect immediately, tax levy.
Assemblymember Macedo, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. Under current law, nonprofit organizations qualify for a tax exemption when they acquire land for public use or conservation purposes. Simultaneously, Native Indian tribes across California are working to reclaim and preserve lands that have deep ancestral, cultural, and environmental significance. When land is returned to California's first people for conservation, we should be affording them the same tax treatment that nonprofits receive. AB 1485 brings equality to federally recognized tribes by making them eligible for the welfare exemption when land is held for conservation. Thank you, and I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Assemblymember Macedo. Assemblymember Gallagher, you are recognized.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I do have some concerns about this bill. I actually did some legislation on this in the past, and like ensuring that our first people are stewards of the land. They've always been stewards of the land. But I'm concerned that maybe in this bill, you had thought about amendments that would help to ensure that the government follows through and actually allows for that conservation to take place. So have you considered maybe amending the code section in subsection C to ensure that that execution goes through?
Can I answer in close?
Ms. Macedo, you can answer in your close. All debate having ceased, Assemblymember Macedo, you wish to close.
With all respect to Mr. Leader, this is not my first bill on the floor, but thank you for the entertainment. The LAO and the BOE will be overseeing these, so I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Assemblymember Macedo. All debate having ceased, clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes, ayes 63, noes 0. The measure passes. Mr. Lee. Members, we're going back to file item 114. 114. That is AB 1240 by Assemblymember Lee. 1240, clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1240 by Assemblymember Lee and others, an act relating to real property.
Assemblymember Lee, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to present AB 1240. First, I want to thank the real estate agents from my district across California that actually went to the California Association of Realtors to remove the opposition because they understand how critical this bill is. This bill simply says, if you are a corporation that already owns 1,000 single-family homes in California, you should not be able to buy more for the purpose of turning them into rentals. I have committed, by my own volition, to making sure that this bill does not apply to build to rent. It has never been my intention to harm new production of housing, as it isn't clear currently today's version of the bill. But I'm coming at you today with the same reasoning as those real estate agents. Because for far too many Californians, the American dream is the American fantasy. Members, I want to tell you personally that I am an aspiring homeowner. But it crushes my soul every year that I watch my area's home values go from 1.4 to 1.6, and this year's 1.7 million. Even as a legislator, I cannot earn or save fast enough to afford a down payment. And yes, I do rent a single-family home from some lovely people who are mom and pop. So there are lots of options out there for families to rent single-family homes in the interim if they want to. But the phenomenon of big real estate corporations and hedge funds coming into the state and across the nation, buying up single-family homes, reduces the amount and availability of single-family homes. I repeat, it reduces the amount of single-family homes for people to buy. Members, if our intention is to create more people to have the American dream, to get to home ownership, then we should be supportive of this bill. Even of all our efforts to pass new housing legislation, it will take years for that to materialize. And I personally think about, even with my friends, is it time to leave? I think about it often. Do my children, will they have a future in a place that we cannot afford to buy? Where we are crushed year after year on more and more rents, where we cannot save. I could have a comparable standard of living in Oregon or New York. So what do we do now while we pass some momentous production, streamlining bills to get more housing done? In the meantime, because in the meantime, 4 companies in California, 4 corporations own more than 1,000 single-family homes to landlord, to rent out. One company alone, Invitation Homes, who have lobbyists, owns 10,000 houses. And how did they start getting those houses? It was during the last housing recession, when it was cheap to buy houses, and they continue to do so. So while there are many people like me who struggle to think of a future, if it's able to afford living in the Bay Area, we may think about going to the Valley, to outer Los Angeles, but those are the places these corporations are buying those houses. They are competing with regular, hardworking Californians on starter homes. And that's less opportunity for us. So this is a bill about making sure that we have more home ownership opportunities for the people of California. So I ask you to vote for this bill, because in the meantime, we have to stop the bleed. We cannot allow more corporations to own more than 1,000 homes, while half of California struggles to afford one home. Respectfully ask your aye vote.
Thank you, Assemblymember Lee. Assemblymember Sharp Collins, you are recognized.
Thank you. I would like to thank the author for this particular bill. I do believe that home ownership is a real goal, and the main way for families can actually start to create generational wealth. So I am very concerned about barriers, including the driving up the cost. That said, I'm also aware of some business models that actually create new homes, but in that process do purchase properties as well. I do support the bill today, but I would ask the author to continue working with the opposition to make sure that good actors who generate new housing units are also protected, while greedy hedge funds are being restricted. So I do ask that the author continue to work with the opposition, but I will rise to support the bill today.
Thank you, Assemblymember Sharp Collins. Assemblymember Muratsuchi, you are recognized.
Thank you very much. I just want to stand in support of my brother from Fremont here. In the beach cities of Los Angeles County, I mean, we have the same problem of investors buying up, valuable housing stock and just driving up the home prices and making it so prohibitive for regular folks to be able to buy their first home. And so, I understand that I don't know where you came up with 1,000 unit figure, but we got to start somewhere, right? And I appreciate the spirit and the intent and the aspiration of your measure, and proud to support your measure. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblymember Muratsuchi. Assemblymember Wilson, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members, I rise in opposition to AB 1240, and I've had a chance to talk with the author several times. This is a iteration of a previous bill, and I'm concerned for a number of things. Just the premise, an arbitrary ban of over 1,000. As my colleague noted, that 1,000 is an arbitrary number. And if 1,000, he said, given an opportunity to work on whether 1,000 is enough, and given more time, but I will tell you, we've seen this bill several times, and it always starts with 1,000. And so you would think if they were going to get new iterations of the bill, then we should have made progress on the bill, but we continue to insert the same language. And yes, there is an issue with homes being bought up. I know several people in my office who've tried to buy homes and had to outcompete these types of companies. And so there is a way to address that, and I think you'll see future legislation on it. But in regards to this particular bill, it's the wrong premise. This is not how we address this issue by doing an arbitrary ban, by giving an arbitrary amount of $1,000. We address this issue by looking at the real problem and why it exists, not just in California, but across this nation, and addressing it that way. And so I hope that people will consider that this is the wrong direction and send it back by not voting on it today. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblymember Wilson. Assemblymember Pappen, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So I rise with a heavy heart about this bill because I get what the author's trying to do. But I come to this situation with another view of the equation, and that is who wants to live in single-family homes. So I'm looking at it from the user side, and where I come from, there are a lot of folks that will never be able to come up with a down payment. But I really take issue with those folks, a lot of single moms that I personally know who have kids of different genders trying to make a go of it in a one-bedroom apartment. So I strongly feel that they should be given an opportunity to live in a single-family home, to have that backyard barbecue, and to maybe not be relegated to multifamily home. The author has heard me multiple times on this, and I appreciate you hearing me out. I will follow up just a little bit with my colleague from Sassoon about there being an arbitrary number as well. And if we're so concerned about who's on the other side of the equation and who owns the single-family home, maybe we come at it with a different arbitrary number. But I'm telling you, there's a lot of folks out there that will not be able to own, but should be given a right to rent a single-family home, and I wish you would hear me out on that one. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Assemblymember Pappen. Assemblymember Ward, you are recognized.
Thank you. I rise in support of Assembly Bill 1240, and I just wanted to address the question of where number 1,000 came, because it relates to a bill that I did last year as well. The SEC actually has defined real estate investment trusts as these large corporations that have more than 1,000 real estate properties of interest on their file. And so there is a standard there that I think this work is tearing off of and is replicated here in Assembly Bill 1240. So it's not incredibly arbitrary, but rather something that's already defined. And your real estate investment trust, for those that were not with us in the session last year as we debated a very similar measure, really only came to light after the great financial housing crisis of 2009, where a new model was created by Wall Street, has exploded in interest, and really is seen as an opportunity because, of course, they have access to ungodly amounts of capital to be able to come in and outcompete with everyday average Californians, including the next generation that unfortunately is relegated to some of these undesirable housing situations, but they can't even compete to be able to get in here for that home ownership opportunity right now, which is ultimately what many of them want to do. And sure, some of them may not be ready with that down deposit. They may still be renting for the time being, but they want ultimately to be able to achieve that American dream as well. And this is the opportunity to be able to help level the playing field. I know it's a similar bill that did pass off the Assembly last year, although the membership of the body was different, and I strongly encourage your aye vote on Assembly Bill 1240.
Thank you, Assemblymember Ward. Assemblymember Alvarez, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in support of Assembly Bill 1240, and I think the question in my mind is how many single-family homes is enough for someone to own? Is it 1? Is it 2? Is it 5? Is it 50? 100? We're talking about someone who owns 1,000 single-family homes. We're not talking about apartments. That's a different product. This housing product, single-family homes, should be about families from California being able to access the opportunity of, yes, renting, but also home ownership. And so I want to say thank you to the author who is engaged in conversation, because he's brought forward an amendment that ensures that we don't block or make it more difficult to build housing at this scale. That individuals who are in this industry, in this market, can still do that. They can still build and rent out single-family homes, but they won't be allowed to gobble up and pick up homes that are today in the market in our communities for them to take ownership of, meaning our community won't be able to have access to either ownership or rentals. And for that reason, I think it's important to support this bill as we tackle, as we've talked about today, the multi-pronged approach of solving our housing crisis. It's about financing affordable housing. It's about making it easier to build. It's about ensuring that our existing housing stock is available for Californians. For that reason, I ask for your aye vote on AB 1240. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblymember Alvarez. Assemblymember DeMaio, you are recognized.
So I have to return to the analogy, or borrow the analogy from my colleague from the Central Valley on AB 1240. This is putting a Band-Aid on a cancer patient in the ICU. This is not going to solve this problem. And I'm confused because so many of the supporters of this bill also support SB 9 and SB 10, which takes single-family plots, zone single-family residences, and turns them into fourplexes and tenplexes. My hope is that if you're suddenly all in exciting support of a single-family zoned parcel, that you would undo the damage that SB 9 and 10 has done. But that doesn't seem to be consistent, though, in your support of AB 1240. I'm not a fan of companies coming in and buying lots of these single-family units. But here's the problem, or perhaps the opportunity. If we want to prevent the market from taking advantage of a broken environment, let's fix the environment. Let's make California attractive again for single-family housing development. But that doesn't seem to be, in terms of the policy and the rhetoric, what I'm hearing from most of the elected officials in California. They would like dense developments. They like multifamily. So again, I'm glad to hear the support for single-family zoned units. I would love to see that translated into other bills first before we apply a Band-Aid on the dying patient. I urge a no vote on AB 1240. It goes in the wrong direction.
Thank you, Assemblymember DeMaio. Assemblymember Jackson, you are recognized.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I mean, obviously, this is still a very important issue, and I would urge members that to continue to engage with the author to figure out what that number could be that would be reasonable. But for those who have been a part of communities during the Great Recession, when whole blocks, whole neighborhoods were bought up by corporations, they began to control the market itself. And they began to scam people, raise rents, raise the price of the homes, with the only interest of just making a profit. And it took a decade for many of our communities to recover from that, in which most of the people who lost their homes were so priced out because of the corporate owning of whole neighborhoods that they were never able to reclaim or repurchase a home again, because they could never catch up to the rising housing prices. And so there's no doubt that we all know that this issue is a multi-pronged approach. This is just one of them. We have got to make sure that not just now, but when, not if, but when another recession hits, that we don't deal with this issue again. And so I think this issue is so important that we must engage on this. And if we don't agree on a particular number, let's figure it out. Let's sit down and let's figure out what that number could be, because it is our job as a legislature to ensure that there's guardrails on any industry that we're talking about, but to make sure that it's done in a fair way. But we can't say that we are in a housing crisis, but yet we are not going to deal with the issue that this bill is trying to address. So I respectfully ask for an aye vote, and I thank the author for dealing with such a complicated issue.
Thank you, Assemblymember Jackson. Assemblymember Bennett, you are recognized.
Thank you, Speaker, members. Virtually everyone here pledges to try to do all we can to lower housing prices. This bill, this action here, no one has made a case that this is going to raise housing prices. But you can make a very strong case that if you remove the corporate ownership that's out there, that it could potentially have significant impact on lowering housing prices. If you want to be consistent, I don't know how, unless you have some argument that this is going to inadvertently raise prices, that you cannot be in support of AB 1240. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you, Assemblymember Bennett. Seeing and hearing no further debate, Assemblymember Lee, do you wish to close?
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Thank you from all my colleagues for engaging in the debates. To those who are opposed to the bill, we continue to work on this issue. But just to reiterate that the 1,000 houses definition comes from the SEC in their definition of real estate investment trusts. It is a large amount. And when I even talk to my constituents, they do not want 1,000. They want way, way lower than 1,000. Because there is a real need right now. As we go forward with momentous housing legislation to expedite new housing, we have to control the costs and stop people, corporations that profit off of housing scarcity. With that, I ask for aye vote.
Thank you, Assemblymember Lee. All debate having ceased, clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll. Tally votes ayes 41. Clerk will close the roll. Tally the votes. Ayes 41, noes 14. Measure passes. Members, we're going back to the file order. Please bring your attention to file item 155. We're going to pass and retain on file item 155, pass and retain on file item 156, pass and retain on file item 157. Brings us to file item 158, AB 458 by Assemblymember Stefani. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 458 by Assemblymember Stefani, enacting the public contracts.
Assemblymember Stefani, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Today I rise to present AB 458, the Firearm Procurement Act. Each year, every year, the state of California spends millions of taxpayer dollars to purchase firearms, ammunition, and firearm accessories for various state law enforcement agencies and departments. However, the state does not require law enforcement agencies to vet firearm vendors or even ensure they comply with local, state, and federal laws meant to protect the public. In the absence of a vetting system, the state has purchased firearms, ammunition, and accessories from irresponsible vendors who have failed to perform background checks, prevent straw purchases, or whose guns have ended up in numerous crime scenes. This bill will require the Department of General Services, in consultation with the Department of Justice, to develop model guidelines for departments, boards, and commissions of the state on the procurement of firearms, ammunition, and firearm accessories. This will ensure that when our state law enforcement agencies are buying weapons and ammunition from firearm dealers, that there are measures in place to make certain we are not buying them from irresponsible actors. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Assemblymember Stefani. All debate having ceased, clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 55, noes 3. The measure passes. Moving on, we're going to pass retain on file item 159. Brings us to file item 160. I'm going to pass temporarily on file item 160. Brings us to file item 161, AB 538 by Assemblymember Berman. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 538 by Assemblymember Berman, enacting the Public Works.
Assemblymember Berman, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. AB 538 continues the legislature's commitment to prevailing wage and ensuring that workers are paid what they are rightfully owed. Specifically, this bill would establish a process and timeline to receive payroll records from a contractor to ensure that public works projects comply with prevailing wage requirements and maintain transparency of public funds. Respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you, Assemblymember Berman. All debate having ceased, clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 54, noes 2. The measure passes. Pass and retain on file item 162. Brings us to file item 163, AB 554 by Assemblymember Mark Gonzalez. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 554 by Assemblymember Mark Gonzalez and others, enacting the health care coverage.
Assemblymember Gonzalez, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm proud to present AB 554, the PREPARE Act, in partnership with Assemblymember Matt Haney. AB 554 protects and expands access to HIV prevention medications such as injectable PrEP, while also ensuring that small community-based clinics receive streamlined reimbursements for the care they are providing. AB 554 is about giving people real choices, equipping small clinics with the tools they need to protect lives, and ensuring that California continues to put public health over politics. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Mr. Majority Whip. All debate having ceased, clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 58, noes 1. The measure passes. Members, I don't want to miss anybody. If you want to get a speech in the floor, raise your mic early. Don't raise it last minute. If I don't see it, we're going to steamroll through that bill. I'm going to pass and retain on file item 164. Gets us to file item 165, AB 616 by Assemblymember Colosa. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 616 by Assemblymember Colosa and others, enacting the state parks.
Assemblymember Colosa, you are recognized.
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker. I rise to present AB 616, or as I like to call it, the Parks for All bill. AB 616 will authorize the state parks upon appropriation to transfer annual day use passes to the state library free of charge. I believe that all Californians, regardless of income, deserve access to our state parks. And AB 616 promotes outdoor recreation and provides a more equitable access to California's beautiful state parks, which are often underutilized by low-income communities. Respectfully ask for my colleagues' aye vote on our Parks for All bill. And this has a support recommendation.
Thank you, Assemblymember Colosa. All debate having, just kidding. Assemblymember Jeff Gonzalez, you are recognized.
I rise in support of this bill as a proud co-author. More importantly, this bill really tackles some of the issues that we deal with in my district. So I thank the author for her leadership in this, and I urge my colleagues to support this bill as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblymember Gonzalez. All debate having ceased, Assemblymember Colosa, do you wish to close?
Respectfully ask for everyone's aye vote on the Parks for All bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblymember Colosa. The clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 69, noes 0. The measure passes. Pass and retain on file items 166 through 171. That brings us to file item 172. AB 766 by Assemblymember Sharp Collins. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 766 by Assemblymember Sharp Collins and others, enacting to state government.
Assemblymember Sharp Collins, you are recognized.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker, once again. I rise to present Assembly Bill 766, which is a Black Caucus priority bill. This bill builds upon the governor's 2023 executive order to require state departments to review their strategic plans to ensure that racial equity and to respond to the disparities in the organization's mission, if applicable. The amendments in the appropriations has helped to respond to the cost concerns that was already addressed, and I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Assemblymember Sharp Collins. All debate having ceased, clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 50, noes 15. The measure passes. Brings us to file item 173, AB 788 by Assemblymember Quirk Silva. The Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 788 by Assemblymember Quirk Silva, and Act relating to prisons.
Assemblymember Quirk Silva, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. AB 788 is a Women Caucus priority bill, and AB 788 strengthens rehabilitative efforts for incarcerated women by requiring the California Department of Corrections and Rehabilitation to implement key reforms. The bill asks CDCR to report on the implementation of the Female Offender Reform Master Plan, restore collaborative review processes, provide annual staff training, and submit reports to the legislature every 3 years. With that, I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you, Assemblymember Quirk Silva. All debate having ceased, clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 70, noes 1. Measure passes. Pass and retain on file items 174, 75, 76. Brings us to file item 177, AB 899 by Assemblymember Ransom. Ms. Ransom, at the conclusion of this bill, we'll go back to the other bill as well. So we'll do them both back to back. This is bill number 899. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 899 by Assemblymember Ransom, and Act relating to beverage containers.
Assemblymember Ransom, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to present Assembly Bill 899, which would give California wineries the support they need to buy California-made glass. I call this the tariff-proofing California bill. Currently, California produces 81% of the nation's wine, but many of the glass bottles are imported from foreign countries. Representing one of the few remaining glass manufacturing plants in California, I see the need urgently to support our local glass plants that are facing closure and putting around 1,000 union jobs at risk. This bill would extend the existing market development payment program for glass bottle manufacturers and increase the cap to ensure local manufacturers can effectively compete with imported bottles while promoting a circular economy. By incentivizing the purchase of local glass from recycled materials, AB 899 strengthens the state supply chains and helps wineries and glass manufacturers thrive together. I respectfully ask for your aye vote.
Thank you, Assemblymember Ransom. All debate having ceased, clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 68, noes 0. The measure passes. We're working backwards to file item 160. 160, that's AB 532, also by Assemblymember Ransom. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 532 by Assemblymember Ransom and others, and Act relating to water.
Assemblymember Ransom, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to present Assembly Bill 532. This bill will clarify that public urban retail water suppliers have the authority to operate low-income water rate assistance programs, which helps address affordability for our communities. As families compete and continue to struggle with rising costs, this bill would expand water affordability by providing the needed legal certainty for more local programs to operate. No one should have to choose between paying their water bill and putting food on their table. This bill works towards ensuring that every person in California has access to clean, safe, and affordable drinking water. I respectfully ask for your aye vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Assemblymember Ransom. All debate having ceased, clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 68, noes 0. Measure passes. Brings us to file item, back to file order. Everybody back to file order. File item number 178, AB 986 by Assemblymember Muratsuchi. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 986 by Assemblymember Muratsuchi, and Act relating to emergency services.
Assemblymember Muratsuchi, you are recognized.
Thank you very much. I am presenting Assembly Bill 986, which is making a common sense proposal to add landslides to the list of conditions that could potentially constitute a state of emergency or a local emergency. This is coming out of a landslide that happened in my district in the Palos Verdes Peninsula, where 20 homes were red tagged as a result of the landslides. Roads are crumbling, utilities were cut off, electricity was cut off, gas was cut off, and yet we were having problems in getting the California Office of Emergency Services to declare the landslide condition as a state of emergency. This is critical because for all of our communities, because the state state of emergency declaration is critical to trigger it up to the next level to get the FEMA landslide assistance, which, as we all know, is where the real dollars are, where the real big funds are, at least until the previous administration. Anyway, this bill, by the way, does have a support, and I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you, Assemblymember Maritsuchi. Assemblymember Davies, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in strong support of AB 986. Orange County's coastal region, particularly along the Lauson Rail Corridor in San Clemente, has experienced repeated disruptions due to landslides worsened by climate change impacts such as sea level rise, heavy rainfall, and coastal erosion. Members, 2 years ago, our rail was closed for 10 months because of a landslide that damaged our bluffs and the rail infrastructure itself. That means valuable goods and tourism could not get into our region because of the landslide. Cities like this in my district rely on tourism revenue were devastated. By including the term landslide in what may constitute an emergency, we could help communities get more assistance. I want to thank the member from Torrance for bringing the bill forward and respectfully urge an aye vote.
Thank you, Assemblymember Davies. Assemblymember Schiavo, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. I just want to stand in solidarity with my compadre over here. As you know, it's very difficult to get something declared a disaster that seems obviously a disaster in our state, such as homes falling down and having people be evacuated out of them, or a 90-acre burning landfill that is making a whole community sick. And so, I hope that this helps to resolve your situation, and I hope that Cal OES will take heed that we need to make sure that we are doing all that we can to protect our communities, because there is a lot of need to escalate these situations up to FEMA to get the kind of relief that we have seen happen around the LA fires and that we need in these other circumstances and are not receiving. And so I am proud to support this bill and respectfully request an aye vote.
Thank you, Assemblymember Schiavo. Seeing and hearing no further debate, Assemblymember Maritsuchi, do you wish to close?
Respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you, Assemblymember Maritsuchi. All debate having ceased, the clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes, ayes 70, noes 0. The measure passes. I'm going to pass and retain on file items 179, 180. That brings us to file item 181, AB 1003 by Assemblymember Calderon. Clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1003 by Assemblymember Calderon, enacted in public health.
Assemblymember Calderon, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to present Assembly Bill 1003, which establishes a deadline for the State Department of Public Health to complete and distribute wildfire smoke mitigation plans to stakeholders. This bill has received bipartisan support and has no registered opposition. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you, Assemblymember Calderon. All debate having ceased, the clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes, ayes 61, no 0. The measure passes. I'm going to pass and retain on file item 182. Brings us to file item 183, AB 1028 by Assemblymember Fong. The clerk will read.
Assembly Bill 1028 by Assemblymember Fong and others, enacted relating to community colleges.
Assemblymember Fong, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker and members. Assembly Bill 1028 requires California community college districts to comply with collective bargaining agreements when terminating a part-time employee. Part-time faculty are dedicated professionals who are the backbone of our community colleges, but face constant employment instability. Under current law, districts have the discretion and authority to terminate a part-time employee without judicial review or explanation. This bill will ensure that local bargaining units can discuss terms of termination in their agreements with community college districts and ensures compliance with those agreements. I respectfully ask for an aye vote.
Thank you, Assemblymember Fong. All debate having ceased, the clerk will open the roll. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. All members vote who desire to vote. Clerk will close the roll, tally the votes. Ayes 57, noes 4. The measure passes. We're going to pass and retain on file item 184. That brings us to file item 185.